Hi everyone, I want to invite you. We're going to have a live stream right now with Gran Crew, which is a tea plantation in Taiwan. I'm really excited right now to invite you all to come in and watch us live with our tea producer from Taiwan. If you want to get to know a little bit about everything that's happening in a tea plantation right now, just let us know. We're going live in just a minute. So thank you everyone for being here. We're live right now, and in just a minute, we're gonna have a Grand Crew, a tea plantation that we buy from. So we are really excited to have them join this amazing conversation all the way from Taiwan. We have a tea plantation from Taiwan right now. So for everyone watching, this is Silvio from Grand Crew right now from Taiwan.
Hi guys.
I don't know. Yeah, you can. So yeah, hi. How are you?
Good,
So
good. How are
hi.
you?
Very, very excited for this conversation all the way from Taiwan.
Yes.
So tell me, Silvio, you told me that this is a plantation that's around 1,900 meters above sea level to 2,000, right? What's
Yeah.
the weather like over there?
Well, you can see us like really have like the eyes like this. Sun is like really up high right now. We're like 10 o'clock here, and the weather is like it's only 21 degrees Celsius. But its sun is burning actually. The radiation is pretty bad.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. We're here with Grand Crew all the way from Taiwan and a live feed showing us his tea plantation. We're watching this tea plantation live for everyone that can join. Come join us and learn a little bit about what is going on. Something that you told me that was really excited about this was that you do Qingxing Oolong. Could you tell us a little bit about what Qingxing Oolong means?
So the Qingxing Oolong is a varietal. It's the name of the varietal of the teas. It's usually grown above sea level at around like 1,000 meters high above sea level. Most of the tea fields or plantation you would call, they're about like 80% and over. They grow Qingxing Oolong varietal in the field like over 1,000 meters high. So any plantation above sea level 1,000 meters, you will probably see Qingxing Oolong mostly.
Okay. For somebody that doesn't know, Taiwan is also very much into everything that's around the semi-oxidized oolong variety. Oolong process, I mean. So could you tell us a little bit about what is an oolong so that people from this part of the world will have an idea of what it is?
So basically, if you guys are familiar with green teas and black teas, it'd be a lot easier to compare it and for you to know about what oolong is. So let's just talk about oxidation. So green teas, they're not oxidized at all. So they're like zero oxidation for green teas. And black teas, they are full oxidized teas. So in between, I would say about 20% to 80% of the tea oxidation. Hold on. Oh, we have a farmer. Hello. He's getting the teas.
Amazing.
Taking the teas down to the processing center, what we would call the co-op.
Okay.
Right there.
Perfect. Now, your family has been growing tea for quite a while. How much time has your family been in tea business?
So we're basically this plantation is basically a contracted plantation. So we've been working with them for more than 15 years, ever since. So it before I think the plantation used to grow fruits before, like pears, I think. 就是之前这个地方种的东西。Yeah, pears. It used to grow pears before, and when we took over, when we signed the contract with them, we helped building this place, and it's been 15 years, and you can see closely to the leaves and how they harvest or pluck the teas. And we were talking about oolong. I didn't finish it because you know, the owner of the tea field came down, and we just wanted to show you the owner of the tea field. So oolong is basically the in between the oxidation of 20% and 80%. So in between them, it's oolong. So you can probably see there are a lot of possibilities in terms of flavors when it comes to oolong. And not to mention, there's also like roasting as well involved. Okay. So if you roast it, there's a lot more possibilities. So you can probably think already in between the 20% to 80% oxidation, and in between maybe non-roasting to full roasting possibilities. So there are like, I would say more than hundreds of combinations.
Probably so. And how do you decide this? How do you decide the final product?
So it depends on the varietal, and it depends on the condition of the teas for us to decide whether or not we want to do more oxidation, less oxidation, with roasting or without roasting.
Okay. Does it have to do with also preferences from your clients around the world?
Yes, of course, because people have different preferences. They have like, for example, we have a lot of customers from the United States, and from the States alone, there are different preferences already. Like the eastern part of the U.S., they prefer something stronger, like roasted ones, and the part of the west side, they would prefer something lighter. For example, more on the green tea side, so it would taste more like floral, fruity, like more like what would I call it in terms of coffee? Maybe like something like light roast coffee.
Of course. Now, one of the things that I bought from you was
sorry, we had a loud motorcycle.
Very long.
Hold on. Sorry, we have some helpers coming up.
That's fine. I was asking you, actually, one of the teas that we were able to get from you was the rose oolong. And this was a sensational tea. It was so fragrant. It has so much body, and it was so much floral. It was such like a real rose. How do you do that type of tea?
It's really like coffee, actually. When we do the processing and roasting, I can show you the pictures of it so that you have more visual about it. So it's like a drum. So it's like like when you roast coffee, you use probat maybe. So it's like a drum-like roasting machine, and we just put in the teas, and we just roast it like that. It would be better if you have like visuals of it. So I will do. We're gonna go down to the processing center or the co-op later in the afternoon, and we will send you some pictures of it, so you have more ideas about it.
Perfect. Thank you. How many people do you have working right now in the field?
I'm sorry?
How many people do you have working right now in the field?
We have about 30 people right now in the field. And we started plucking the tea from 6 o'clock in the morning, and we're expecting it to finish at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We pluck about 6 days.
In 6 days you finish?
Yes.
Okay. And I know that because of the weather, we were postponing this live session. And why wouldn't you be able to pluck if you have like a dewy weather?
Yes, the weather, because you know how coffees are like as well. When the weather is bad, we have to postpone. Usually we have to wait until the condition of the tea leaves are constantly equal. And the reason of our first postpone was because the tea leaves, they were growing differently. They had like shorter leaves, they had longer leaves, so the conditions were different. So we had to postpone it. And the second time we postponed was because of the pouring rain. There were rain, the rain was like nonstop for like 2 days or so, and it was pretty big. So we couldn't do any plucking, any harvesting until the weather gets nicer one day after the rain, because you have to let it dry as well.
Okay, so it has to be dry for you to pluck. And how many leaves do you usually pluck for the oolong?
So usually what you hear about, I'm sorry, there's another truck coming up. They're gonna weigh the tea soon, so there's gonna be like trucks going up and down. Sorry about that. And we were talking about how many leaves, right? So usually the standard of the tea plucking, the tea leaves being 2 leaves, we will call it 1 heart 2 leaves. And for the condition of the tea fields here, we can do about 3 leaves. And the reason why is because of the condition of the tea leaves is really nice. And we're gonna show you the tea leaves here. Yeah, there you go. So here's the heart right here. There's the here.
And the 3.
Okay. Yes. Here's the 1 and here's the 2. And sometimes our customers would say, oh, I don't want the 3rd one. So we will do like just this 1 heart 2 leaves.
Okay. That's a nice leaf.
And this is really
one
small
of the things
too.
One of the things that I read was that the majority of women. Is this true?
I'm sorry?
One thing in Taiwan is that women. Is this?
I would say I actually didn't notice it until you're just mentioning right now. There are a lot of women in ratio. Yes, actually, but it really depends.
Yes.
Like in my impression, I would say yes, because women tend to be more careful, I would say. And
that's exactly.
Okay, they're gonna weigh the teas. Sorry to interrupt, but it just happens right now. We're gonna show you how they weigh the teas.
Okay, perfect.
So we're gonna go around here, and you see the weight over here. So they're gonna check the condition of the tea leaves and weight it.
How much tea does one person do on average?
I would say about 20 to 20 to about the fastest one would say, I would say like 60, and we call it, the unit we use here is caddy, which is 600 grams per caddy. So it's about like 20 to 60, depending on if the plucker is fast or not.
That's how much does a pound of fresh tea is a finished product? Do you have that relationship of fresh tea to finished product?
So usually there's like it also has like a range, and the range is like really big. The gap in between different tea fields and different co-ops, and for different results. For example, you want something oxidize more, and the ones that oxidize less. You know how like the water contained in the leaves are different. So it really depends. But I would say about like 40% shortage. So if you take about, let's say about maybe 100 kilo, and you would have about 30, 40 kilos produced.
Amazing.
But it
So
really
they're
depends.
all right after they weigh their product. Where do you take them in production?
We take them down to the closest co-op facility. And for the tea plantation here, the co-op we have is about 1 hour drive.
Okay. So in coffee, if we don't process the coffee right immediately, it kind of spoils. Would this happen in tea also?
Well, we have to process it right away because the water contained in the leaves, we have to walk the water out so that it can be processed. And if you pluck the tea leaves and you leave it there, it's gonna rot. I mean, it's gonna oxidize, and it's gonna look like whatever tea leaves out there, you know, on the street. It's gonna look like that.
Okay.
And it's not gonna taste good.
It's not going to, of course.
Yeah. So usually after we pluck the teas, we have to take it to the co-op, to the closest co-op, as soon as possible.
Of course. So they have already weighed it, and right now they're putting it in like a stack kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay.
And they're checking the tea leaves condition, and if the tea leaves are plucked too long, too short, because we just that or the co-op, they want less or shorter leaves this time. So you see how they're
a bit of
checking.
static. Okay.
So you see how they're checking the tea condition, and they're choosing the ones that are not up to standard. They take it out, and they tell them, they show it to them.
Okay.
And they set the standard of plucking. Like this time we want 2 leaves, and maybe so yesterday we had like 3 leaf standard, and today we have 2 leaf standard because of different customers' requests.
Okay. I know that painting oolong is very fragrant and floral. Is this the type of aroma that you feel right now, and when you kind of smell the leaf?
I'm sorry, I'm a little losing it.
Okay, yeah, it's this. No, change oolong is fragrant. Is that the aroma that you feel?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can barely hear you.
You can barely hear me?
Yeah, it's kind of cutting off a little by little. Sorry.
Fine.
So it's showing you how much each specific person and how much they weigh, so that they can, so that we know how much they make, how much they earn for a day.
Can you hear me better now?
Still a little on and off. Sometimes loud and sometimes like really, I can't really hear anything.
Is long right now?
Hello? Let me check the connectivity on our side.
That have right now we are connecting all the way to Taiwan with Gran Crew. They have been one of our tea providers, and we're really happy to have them explain to us exactly what is going on in farm right now. Because Taiwan right now is actually plucking tea. Just like the coffee season, they have a tea season, and that's what we're looking at right now. And if you're it is. We had a lot of people going for curiosity. This is what is happening in Taiwan. Farm, and what we're watching is their tea. So they're waiting. Get so it's very interesting and coffee. If somebody that needs a question answered, just let me know. Send it through the chat, and I'll try to answer as much as I can. And Silvio is also going to be hearing us. So this is what I'm doing right now. Silvio, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. One of the things that I wanted to ask you, do you participate in any competition?
Yes, we actually do. So each different region, they have different competitions, and different competitions, they also have different processing competitions. So for example, we have certain competition that's for a certain processing. So for example, there's a competition specifically for Oriental beauty, and there's a competition specifically for Dongding Oolong. So it's like roasted oolong. So there are specific titles or championships for different teas, different processing, even different regions as well. There are like hundreds of them.
Amazing, amazing. What about do you have any certifications like UTC, Rainforest Alliance, or maybe an organic certification?
So in terms of certifications over organic, we don't have it because usually for this plantation we have, this one is really successful. We usually sell out our teas within a month. So
Wow.
we don't usually have the time to go through the process because once we finish processing the certification, it's already sold out. And we have to wait for the next one, next harvest. And usually that doesn't work for certifications, unless if you do something like like a compliance kind of thing. For people who come here to the field and check everything thoroughly, so that you can get the field certified. But we don't really do that here, yeah, because it's a massive workloads. And the owner you just saw, he's actually 70 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's a lot of work already, and he doesn't want, overload himself.
Of course. What generation is this farmer?
I'm sorry?
This farmer, what generation of tea farmer is he?
He's actually because this field 15 years ago, this plantation used to grow pears, fruits, and he came to the company 15 years ago because I'm only been here for 7 years. So they came to this company and they asked him that he wants to grow teas. So they helped him from scratch, changing the plantation from fruits growing to teas. So he's actually the first generation.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, there are a lot of farmers here. They grow fruits, they grow teas, and they switch around growing different production. So they have like pears, they have like what do they have? Let's see, apples. They have mostly these things, and oh yeah, and cabbages too. So they have all different fruits, and most of them start transferring from fruits to teas. I would say not a lot of them transfer from teas to fruits, but in lower elevation, that's a different story.
Would you say that lower elevation teas are less quality, or can you always have a very good quality in tea independent on elevation?
Elevation definitely has the impact over quality, just like coffee. The higher elevation, it grows slower, the flavors are built more complete, and lower elevation, it has its advantages for commercial teas. But then the flavors won't be such flavorful, complete. So lower elevation advantage would be pricing. It has really cheap, and it can be harvested from like at least 4 times to 12 times a year. So there's your advantage for the lower elevation tea compared to the higher ones, because the higher elevation for the one we have here, we can only harvest 2 to 3 times a year.
Wow, that's
a big difference.
And what would you say is your favorite tea first flush or second flush or third flush? What do you think? Just what you like. What do you like?
I would say the harvest from winter is probably more fun. I wouldn't say it's more flavorful, because most people they would say the first flush, which is spring harvest, is the best quality. Well, I think it is in a way, but then people have different flavor, preferences, just like having food. You like something I might don't like, and I might like something you don't like.
Of course.
So my favorite would be, if you call it a third flush, which is the winter harvest we have here. And the reason I would say is because it's got that clean and shallow and more floral flavors that's built in winter harvest.
Okay. Pretty amazing.
It's more, I would say, more delicate. Yeah, more delicate.
Okay. I have a question for you. What material are the hats made of? I see most of them are wearing some coned hats.
Mm-hmm. They're made of.
Is there a
I think
yeah, I like them.
Most of them are. Yeah, you do. They block the sun shade, the sun radiation really well, and usually they're made out of bamboo.
Bamboo. Okay. So, what would you say is the height of the tea plant right now? Because I see that most of the pluckers are practically plucking from very, very good altitude, I would say. They're not struggling to pluck it or anything like that. What altitude does it have?
So we have the outs, because I think you can probably tell how steep actually it is right here. So the elevation goes from, like, it ranges really, really different. So the lowest elevation we have here is about 1650 meters high, and right where we stand is about 1700 meters high, and the highest we have is about 2000.
2000 in the same farm? Yeah.
Yes, in the same farm. We have like three different places, three different plantation, but the owner is the guy that you saw. It's him.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. I love it. Thank you so much for the invite.
Thank you for joining us. Like, thank you for having us too,
No, this is amazing. Could you go a little bit closer to the plucker to see what he's doing or she's doing? I can't tell if it's a he or she, because they're masked, right?
Yeah, they usually have, like, they wear all this much because I think you can probably see. We're gonna go down. Sorry, I'm gonna take him. Watch the step for him, and so that you can actually take a closer look at it.
Of course. I want to see what he's doing with his hands. He has mittens on. Why does he have mittens?
So the reason why they wear so much is because of the radiation up in the mountain. Is if you don't wear any sunshades or if you don't wear any proof, you're gonna get burned, and the burn is really bad. I've had it before, and that's why they wear like this, and wear like sleeves, and we're like short sleeve, and we're sweating. So imagine
they're sweating.
Yeah, imagine them
it's
plucking
like
all day long.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and they actually wear something that's on his fingertip, index finger. They wear this thing that has two blades around, so that they can actually cut the leaves. If you can take a look at it, I don't know if you can see. Yeah, they usually wear the blades at the tip of their index finger. Take a closer look. You see it?
He's going so fast.
So they actually cut the leaves instead of breaking the leaves.
Of course. That's amazing. Amazing. Love it.
Is it a lot different from what you do in coffee?
Actually, no. It is so this almost the same as
right?
coffee.
It's like really
Um,
similar.
it is very, very similar, including the fact that if you plant coffee at high altitudes, you're going to have a lot more complexity in the bean than in lower altitudes. So, yeah, we see so much similarities between coffee and tea right now. Uh, I cannot really tell you how much, including the fact that women are the ones that pluck tea, or
Really?
most are plucking tea. We have most women also plucking coffee here in El Salvador. So, just for everyone that's just joining us right now, we are with Gran Crew all the way from Taiwan. He's explaining to us exactly what is going on right now in tea season. So they are plucking tea leaves right now. We have bought some teas from Gran Cru before, so we very much know the quality of teas that he plucks. So this is amazing. It is so similar to coffee. I just wish to be there to smell the tea being plucked or the plant of tea. What does it smell like?
You know how when you cut the leaves and you cut the grass or you break grasses, you know, they release this smell. I don't know if like veggie. It's like a vegetal,
Like veg.
and it's like yeah, it's like a vegetal. It's really really like something. If you go out to the fields, you know, and you cut the leaves, maybe with you know, the grass machines. You cut it with that, and there's like this smell that releases from it. Usually
Okay.
that's the smell we have here. Usually.
Okay. Okay. That's
It's
amazing.
probably the same mechanism, yeah.
No, amazing, amazing. Now, I know that tea flowers, do you process flowers of tea?
We actually don't want to see the flowers at all.
So that's not good.
Yeah, it's actually not a good thing
Okay.
if you see the tea flowers.
I see also that all of the tea plantation is practically sun grown. Do you have any shade grown teas?
You mean the shades?
Shade, like shaded tea that's not in the
I'm sorry?
sun,
Oh, okay.
that's not in. Mhm.
So the shading is more like Japanese, that what Japanese do. We don't
Mhm.
really have that here, but the highest elevation, I know some plantations they do have this kind of thing, or they usually do they grow teas around it, so that it has shades to
Of
cover
course.
up. Yes, but you we don't really have it much in the area. Like I don't see a lot of plantations doing that in this area. But if you go to like there are some places they actually do that, and there's one place particularly that's in that particular region that does it a lot. But they grow trees around the tea leaves, and the tea field are usually smaller too.
Okay. Amazing.
So the shading technique is usually from Japan, I would say.
Okay. Yeah. Um, for matcha tea and everything, but not for oolong. That's amazing to hear. Yes. Now, why is Taiwan so famous for oolongs, though? Does the
It's
majority
the
of the farms do oolongs, or do you?
unless requested, most of the teas above 1,000 meters high, we do oolongs. We're good at
Okay.
oolongs. We're good at doing processing oolongs. Like we determine, we have like we build all those machines ourselves, and we use the machines ourselves. So we actually know how to process them ourselves. So that the technique, the skills, the skill sets you don't really see that elsewhere in the world.
It's amazing. The best oolongs that I've tried are yours.
Thank you.
I'm definitely impressed by the flavors of it. It was pretty much the best oolongs that I've ever tried. So I do congratulate you on all of the processing methods and everything. I see that you're very keen to take care of details. So it's really nice to have been able to try it. So I'm really glad.
Oh, thank you. You see, we had like a sun up high in the morning, and right now we don't have any sun already. The weather condition really changes a lot up here.
It's still hot though.
It's not as hot right now. It's actually pretty windy and it's getting cooler. It's actually like really comfortable right now, actually.
So for everyone watching right now, thank you for joining us. Right now we are live with Gran Crew from Taiwan. They have quality that they pluck, and right now we're watching located between 1,700 to 2,000 meters above sea level. It's amazing, amazing. I love it.
And usually when it gets to the afternoon, it gets really foggy here too.
Very cloudy.
Like foggy, like there's
Oh,
like a lot of fogs and you can't really see anything.
what? Does that happen every day?
Sorry?
Does that happen every day?
Pretty much, yes.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Thank you so much, Silvio, for showing me everything that you had to show me and about this plantation. And I learned a lot. I don't know if you would like to add anything to this live feed for people that will see it later and not people that are connected.
No, actually, thank you for having us. You know, when I mentioned this and you immediately like you were like sure, you know, and we're thrilled. We're thrilled for you to have us and for you to show it to your audiences and show it to the world. Thank you.
I will try to translate as much as I can the video for everyone that speaks Spanish that follows us. And I am so glad to have met you guys, really like a coincidence in a SCA fair, which is a coffee fair. in the world, but I'm so glad to have met you guys because, like I told you, I am so excited to be here with you, and I'm also so excited to actually be witnessing everything that you did for this. For the teas that I have already tried from you. So I'm really, really glad and really happy for this invite. So thank you so very much. And well, I'm going to leave you work, let you work. And if you have another, I don't know, maybe we can have another live stream for everyone that wants to know about the processing of tea and the final product at the end.
Sure, of course. We are very, very happy that you we'll be very, very happy to do this too. We're gonna plan the next processing, which is usually happening nighttime, or it's happening right now, but usually we would go at nighttime, so you actually you can see this when you know the time difference. So yeah, we're gonna plan along, and
Okay.
I'll invite you the next time we have it. And thank
Yeah,
you, thank
thank
you
you.
for having us.
No, thank you so much, Silvio. Have a great day, and thank you so much for the invite.
Thank you. Hope to see you next time.
Bye. Bye. See
Bye bye.
you.